I swear, I love these things. Hi, Tea Reading in Oz. Hi, Amrita. I'm trying to get you in, but Instagram is being Instagram. Exactly. Hold for me, please. And it keeps telling me that you're unable to join, but I'm like,
yay!
Yay! Okay, but I can't see you.
Okay, I can see both of you. I can see both of us. Can somebody in the comments just say whether they can see the two of us? Because
Yes. Tea Reading and Oz, can you see both of us?
or Larissa, I see Larissa. Hi, Larissa. Oh, now I can't. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. I still can't see you. Okay,
Yeah.
you can see both of
Okay.
us?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just look at myself and talk. You know?
This is hilarious. This is the third time that we've done this, by the way. This is literally the third time.
I think we just need to accept. Hello? Okay. I don't know what Instagram is doing today, but this is not fun. Can you guys still see her? Okay. Here
Okay.
you are.
And now you can see me.
Yes. Okay. Hello again.
Oh my God. Is this what it's going to be like? This is like worse than Twitter Spaces.
We'll make it work.
We will make it work. Yes.
We will make it. Okay. So, hello, Miss Amrita by the book. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Bree?
I am well. I am well. A few
Am I
minutes
saying
ago.
Am I saying your name right, or like do you say Bree or do you say
It's
like
it's Brie.
it's Bree? Okay.
Like the cheese.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually
like,
it's actually like a contracted form of my name, but
okay. Uh-huh. Yeah.
we just go with
All
Brie.
right. Because I've been calling you that in my head for like months now, and then I said it out loud for the first time, and suddenly I was like, wait, did I just screw it up somehow?
You're correct. You're correct.
Okay, good, good.
That's the sound I like to hear when I hear my name. That's correct. That's a correct sound. So yes, I am so happy to have you here today. As part of my first live with Bookstagrammers session.
It's so cool. It's so cool. Thank you for having me.
I'm just so happy because there are a few of you that I've known on Bookstagram for like a year now. And although we do message each other, I think it's nice to have a moment where we can speak to each other in person. And I wanted to share this. I thought it would be really nice to hear about your favorite books, your not so favorite books, as well as a little bit on why you decided to start publicly doing book reviews. So let's start with that. Can you tell us a little bit about the journey of Amrita by the book?
So the Instagram account is maybe a couple of years old, and I've always been a reader, and I've always had like friends asking me for recommendations, and that's how it started. But I was, this is like way back in like 2018 or 19 or something, before the world went to hell. So, you know, I had a life back then. I would like go out and, you know, like do stuff. So I was kind of like, I would remember, and then like I would have like a week when I uploaded like 10 things. And then I would go away for like 2 months and then come back again and like, you know, I was one of those accounts. And then what happened was, I think like, so last year during the pandemic, I started a BookTube channel. And suddenly I was like, wait, but why am I focusing so much on YouTube when I have this Instagram account that's been just sort of, and all my friends were following that account. And I originally began this because I wanted to tell my friends what I was doing. So I was like, wait, like, remember my friends? Like, I'm chasing validation from strangers, and I was just, yeah. So I started doing that on a more regular basis. And I used to review books like, I don't know, like 16 years ago. I had like a blog, and I used to review things. And I really like reviewing things. And the thing with Instagram is that you can make it as long or as short as you want. And you could do, and now you have reels and things, so you know you can just experiment. And I love experimenting with stuff like new tech, like that's my thing. So it was like a fun thing for me to do, and also it just let me meet new people, but also, you know, do what I originally intended, which was to just let my friends know this is what I'm reading right now. And yeah, and because my friends keep asking me for recommendations, and I don't know about you, but like I'm definitely one of those people that can't just tell you, oh, you should read this book. I'm like, you should read these 6 books, one in every genre. And so, you know, it's just easier for me to say, you know, just check out my Instagram.
Check out my page, yeah.
Yeah, and you can like take a look, and if that's something that you'd like, then find something, you know. Yeah.
And give it a try. Give it a try.
Yeah.
So that actually follows into my second question, which is, what genre do you think people should read a bit more of, in your opinion, that you don't see? Yeah, what genre do you think people should be reading or should read a bit more of?
Weirdly enough, I think people should read more YA. I know that sounds insane because Bookstagram and YouTube, yeah, like they're so YA focused. And I think they're YA focused because there's so many young women on Bookstagram and BookTube. And they seem to be the majority audience for YA books.
Yeah.
You know, and because whenever I see like young men the same age, or even older men, even older women are better about YA than older men. But men seem to have like a really big problem with YA in particular. Like they'll read a lot of SFF, but adult ones. The moment they start talking about YA, and I think that it's probably a generational thing. Like I don't think like very young men, like men in their teens, have the same prejudices as you know, like older men, say millennials and older.
If I may, I think that part of it may have to do with the leads and how the stories develop. Because when I was at high school, right, the girls did read more than the guys, like, period.
Right.
But the ones who did read, they did have an interest in, now I can't remember the names. I think it was like Aragon.
Lord of the Rings?
No, it's another one. It's
Aragon. Oh yeah, Aragon.
Aragon.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
right?
Because
I always get my names wrong, so forgive me.
It's by Christopher Paolini. Yes, I remember.
That one. Yes. That one. So that one, the Clockwork, whatever one.
Yeah.
All of these they actually read, but most of those were male-led.
Right.
There was a young man going on a journey, a young boy going on a journey, having this friend who is his friend regardless of what, and he may find a girl cute, but the end. He saves the world, the end. And I think when that started to change, it became a bit difficult for them to stomach. I don't know. I think that shift and the that we had in like female-led young adult novels, that may have caused a bit of, because suddenly we were the ones riding the dragons, and we were the we were the ones brandishing the swords and like invading castles, and it was a bit weird, I guess. I don't know.
So I think like you and I have the same opinion of like what changed, and also like that is also why I think more people should be reading YA, because I'll be honest, like I didn't really start reading YA until maybe like 2 years ago or something, I would say, because 3 years ago, I would say, because I was always a precocious reader. So when I was a child, I was reading adult books. So when you say YA, like in my head, I'm like, well, that's for children. I'm a grown woman. Like that's not for me. And it's like, I find certain aspects of YA a little bit weird for me. Like it's a personal taste thing. Like romance for me is a little bit hard because, it's like teenage children discovering sex together. And I'm like, I feel like a creep reading this because, the author clearly intended these leads to be sexy and attractive. And I can't find a 16-year-old attractive. I could go to jail for that. So that's a me problem. That's not necessarily a genre problem or a writing problem. It's a me problem, That's me in the back of my head going like, no, like no pedophilia here. Like no, thank you.
And interestingly enough, as you mentioned, when I was younger, like I started reading Anne Rice when I was like 12, 13.
Yeah.
So my idea of like, sexuality and like sexual relations is like intense. So when I read like a lot of these young adult books now, I'm like, what are they doing? What is this? What is this? But again, it's like you said, it's our personal experiences reading, and what we've been exposed to at a younger age and so on. So great. Okay, moving into my next question. So how do you, when you're giving your reviews, right? How do you walk that balance, or what has been the journey for you to walk the balance of being kind but being critical about the books?
Oh, that is hard. I mean, you know this. It is hard because I never want to be vicious about something that another person has spent a lot of years and time writing. Like you always have like a feeling, have you ever read the Anita Blake stories, the novels, the vampire hunter stories? I don't know if you know them.
How old are they?
Oh, I think she's still, she might be on hiatus. I don't know. I haven't read a new Anita Blake novel in years, but she was like really famous and she was putting them out back when nobody else was doing it. Like these days, like everybody's doing it, but
maybe.
Yeah. So her name is Laurel K. Hamilton, and she also has another series called Mary Gentry, but that's not as well, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about picking it up in 2021. It's one of those things. But she talks about like she gave an interview a long time ago, and she was talking about like how difficult it was for her to get any respect as a genre writer because she was an MFA, and people would straight up just call her stupid or crazy because she wanted to write books like, you know, a vampire hunter series where it's very sexy with vampires and werewolves and things. And people were just like, what is this trash? And I remember reading that and thinking, well, I never want to make anyone feel like that about whatever it is that they choose to write about. You know? So I'm never vicious about what it is that I might have vicious thoughts. You can't police me in here, you know. But I try, like, unless they're doing something just egregiously wrong, you know, like sometimes authors will just write things that are just racist trash, or or they're trying to deal with deeper emotions or real life issues, and it's very clear that they haven't put in the work and they don't know how to deal with the conversation around these things, you know. That pisses me off, and I think, like, that's wrong. Are you still here, Bree? Are you still here?
I am, but I see that like I'm loading. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can continue speaking. Like, it's
okay.
Let me see if I can turn on something else. Go ahead. You've frozen though. I guess I've frozen too.
Okay. As long as you can hear me, I can go on.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, like, that's what, those are the only people to whom that I'm really vicious, like the people who haven't put in the work or are just ignorant about what it is that they're writing. So I'll do little things, like if I'm posting on Goodreads, and it's somebody who could, like, an indie author, or maybe they're writing romance, but they are a diverse author, like things like that, then I might, like, if it's like a 3.5, I might just bump it up to 4 when I'm actually hitting the stars on Goodreads, because Goodreads won't let us do.
Yeah. Amrita, I've lost you. Hello. I think I've lost her. Okay, you got kicked off? Can you send me a request to join? So sorry, guys. Please. We're having technical difficulties. Okay, here you are. You're back.
Okay, as long as you can see me. Yeah, so as I was saying, like, what I'll do is, like, with Goodreads, I'll just, like, when I'm doing the stars, I'll do a 4.
Okay, so you actually bump it up.
Yeah, from, like, say, a 3.5. So if it's like a 3.5, I'll bump it up to, like, a 4. If I hate it and it's like a 1.5, I'll bump it down to, like, a 1. But that's rare. Like, I do very few, like, 1-star ratings. I can't actually, yeah. I'm really good at DNFing things that I hate. So I don't build up that hate that, like, comes out in a vicious review.
That creates that kind of what I try to do is when I'm dealing with books I may not like, or that have elements that I find questionable, especially when it comes to things like which language is spoken in a country. And this isn't a fantasy world, but you just invent a language because you don't want to use Google. Like, so, but what I do when I'm reviewing, I try to comment on the book itself
Mm-hmm.
and the characters itself. So I attack the book. I don't attack the author.
Right.
Because there are books, there are some authors that have books that I love, and they have books that I don't love that much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So my critique is always of the work. So that particular work, this is how I
Mm-hmm.
felt about that. Not you, not your
Right.
future work, not anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just that specific book. These are my thoughts.
Yeah, same. I try not to say anything personal because that's a real human being on the other
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
of the screen. And I think I follow enough authors here on Bookstagram and on Twitter that, and people I like, you know, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
has a bad book
Yeah.
in them at some
Yeah.
point. And
So,
so,
so the, I'm sorry. This rolls in to my, oh, okay. I'm just looking at the comments. This rolls
yeah.
into my other question, which is, when have you written before? Have you thought about writing?
Yeah, so I went to writing school. And yeah, so that's why I'm
Okay.
like, I think I'm a little bit kinder to writers just because like I know what goes into it and what it takes to write a complete manuscript, you know?
Yes.
And I'll what I've been doing for like the past couple of years in lockdowns is that I've just been doing like writing exercises and putting
Okay.
it up on Amazon for like, you know, the what do you call it, the Kindle thing, the oh Jesus, my
Kindle
brain is
K2?
mush. Yeah,
Kindle
exactly. Kindle
K2?
Unlimited. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. And so, and I ask people to review it, and then some people will leave a review, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always been like fun to just see what are the things that people respond to, and what is it that people don't respond to. And I just try like different genres, and they're
Mm-hmm.
all like novella length, you know,
Okay.
because um, and I write really fast, and I'm not trying to like spend a lot of time and like write something that's just like workshopped. It's just like, here's a little thing, and I'm just gonna, it
Here's
has a
a
beginning
story.
and an end. Yeah, it has a beginning and end and a middle, and I'm just gonna try this different genres. And it's
Okay.
been fun. It's been fun to just try different genres and find out like, here's a genre I really enjoy writing. Here's a genre I hate writing.
So that was
So,
my next, that was like my follow-up. Which
uh-huh.
genre? Like, which genre is your favorite to write?
I really enjoy historical romance. I really enjoy writing it because it's a lot of research,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's a very particular voice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not my voice, it's the historical romance voice, and I'm trying to be authentic to the time period. I really enjoy that. And I really hate writing mysteries because I figured out the formula for a mystery is just that, you know, like especially like detective fiction, it's
Mm-hmm.
like this guy just goes from like one place to the next place and gathers clues at like every station. It's like a video game except with like clues. And it's the most boring thing to write ever because I know who did it. So I don't even have that
You're
to look
like,
forward to it.
I don't care. Like, I really don't care. I know it was Bob. It was Bob, guys. It was Bob. And we're here like, we haven't even started the story. Like, but okay. I understand. So moving into that, what are the 5 books that you think are like your faves? Current faves, faves
Oh,
overall. What are your 5 books?
okay. So I thought about this, and obviously, like, I can't do an all-time fave thing because that would just me being like, oh, but, you know, like that's just impossible. But I'll tell you like a couple of books that I read this year that were amazing. One is a book that I see a lot of people are reading right now, which is Iron Widow,
Okay.
which is this. Have
I
you read it?
No, I haven't read it, but I saw it.
Okay, you should read it. I think you'd really like it. And it's really great. It's like sort of science fiction, Chinese inspired, feminist rage fantasy. Like it's great.
It's the mixture. It's the mixture.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Like it was so much fun. Like I started reading it and it just went like that. Like I was immediately pulled into this world. The protagonist is amazing. And I think, so I read it as adult fiction, but honestly, like you could make a good case for it being YA and it would really work as that as also. So it's great. And I just finished reading Iron Widow. It's amazing. I just finished reading the sequel. Did you read the Thursday Murder Club last year? Like it was a huge hit. So it's murder mystery, like a cozy mystery, and it was a huge hit last year.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so a cozy mystery is basically when you have a murder that is like a murder mystery that is set in a very comforting, small-sized setting. So, you know, like Miss Marple is
Would
probably...
it be the same as like a small town mystery?
Yes. Yeah. It has to be like
I've just been calling it that.
Yeah, like a village more than a town, really. Like if you have, like, did you ever read Miss Marple, like growing up or later? Like Agatha Christie's Miss Marple?
I read Agatha Christie, a few of her books, like 10 Little Indians and so on.
Okay, so the Miss Marple mysteries are usually her either at home in her little village or else going to like all these other murdery English villages to find out who did it. And she's like this old lady who's like solving murder.
Okay. So this one that you're talking about is a
So the sequel came out in October and it's called The Man Who Died Twice. And it's great. It's about these 4 retirees who live in this luxury retirement home in England. And they solve murders. Like, that's what they do. So it's fun. What else did I enjoy?
I'm just making notes of your books.
You can just take a look at my Instagram because it'll all be there eventually.
Number three.
Number 3 is the, again, like the book that I read this year is the follow-up to A Memory Called Empire, and it's called A Desolation Called Peace.
Okay.
And it is science fiction, like colonialist science fiction. So it's about this woman who is in this, like she's from this tiny little space station on the edge of space, and she comes to this giant space empire to solve. So the first book is about her solving a murder. And then the second book is her working with the empire to neutralize a civilization-ending threat. And it is so good. Like both of those books are so good. And they work as a whole, which is very, which is very rare, I feel, in many ways. And yeah, so those were like my 3 like books that just blew me away. Other books that I enjoyed. Alexis Hall had a new book come out this year that was called Rosaline Palmer Takes a Cake. And I really enjoyed it.
I saw that one.
I really enjoyed that one also. And and it's So Yale Press has this series called Avidly Reads, and they're very slim volumes. They're like extended essays. They're like part memoir, part critique. And they're very fast and they're very funny, and they're written by like people who are experts in their field. And it could be about like, so the first one I read was called Guilty Pleasures, and it was about like what are the books that get termed as guilty pleasures and who does it and who are the guilty pleasures for. And the answer is women. You know, a lot of the things that women like. And I immediately fell in love with the series because they were like so funny, and they're like perfect for people on Bookstagram, I feel, because it's about things that we would care about, and explained by people like us.
I find that comment interesting because I happen to like I love anime and manga and like that whole world of like random things happening within a narrative. And so what I have found on Instagram, it could be that I just haven't found all of these people as yet, but I think the persons that I have found on Instagram are more geared towards young adults and like cozy mysteries and some sci-fi. Like I haven't found the hardcore sci-fi people as yet, but on Twitter I see the little off people that I'm connecting with, and I'm like, ooh, you like this too? And I'm wondering what, like, is it that it's a guilty pleasure that we don't even want to share on Instagram? What, you know, I've been thinking about that over this past week. So that's my contribution.
Do you think like there are, again, like it might be just me and the fact that I haven't found that side of Bookstagram, but I don't think I've seen a lot of accounts that do like anime and or like manga from like a Bookstagram kind of way. You know, like there are accounts out there that like do anime and manga, but they don't seem to identify with Bookstagram. What do you think?
With books, yeah. So that's why I was saying. So like me, when I like read my manga, or like I'm watching my anime, and I'm watching like the basic animes. Like I'm not even watching like the ones that would freak people out, right? I'm just like watching the. And like when I comment on it and you know, I make references to some manga, it's always surprising to me for people to be like hardcore book lovers to be like, oh, I've never read one. I've never picked one up. I don't, you know, I haven't seen much of it. And I'm like, what? You should. They are so entertaining. So someone here in Clumps of Textiles said, yes, a lot of young adult books over Instagram. We need to get Instagram flooded with a different style of Bookstagram. I agree. Like, I agree. Bookstagram needs variety. Like, we need variety. Which is why, like, I always try to, if you've seen my page, which I'm sure you have, like, I'm always like, okay, it has a plot, I will review it. Like, if it has a plot, it can be reviewed. Hence my name. Very straightforward. So, I think that a lot of people are missing out on really good stories by not investigating the world of manga and the world of anime. And I would recommend, like, DM me if you want recommendations.
So I read a lot of the backlist, and I feel the exact same way because, so I feel like in certain genres like YA or in say like contemporary romance, a lot of the work that's been done in the say past 5 years or even like the past 2 years really, you can see like it's a explosion of diversity, and like people are doing so many like things that I didn't even know were possible. I wouldn't have gotten you published, frankly, 20 years ago. You know, or even like 10 years ago, you know, like it was a struggle for, say, you know, like Black people to start publishing contemporary romance and have it be like just contemporary romance rather than like, say, African American or like, you know, some sort of like hyphenate,
And
you know,
just
thing.
just jumping in there with that, I think that what that is coming from the US, because in the Caribbean, for example, we have seen
Obviously.
people of color, of all colors, writing, So when we didn't see certain things, find that our stories are different from the style, because there are styles particular to regions of the world. Our style was different. It is different. But we have had, so a lot of the things that I've seen coming from the US now, that it's like, oh my gosh, we've innovated, we've done this. I'm like, okay, you go, good job. And I appreciate it, because that's where you get a lot of books coming out of, even you have who go there to have their work published, and they're able to attract a greater audience. So it's, I love it. That's fantastic. And there are quite a few Caribbean authors who you would never guess that they are like colored persons, whatever, writing whatever they're writing, and they've been writing it for years and no one knows. But, everyone enjoys the particular book or the particular genre. So, yeah.
So
anyway.
I remember like 20 years ago when I did, so I minored in post-colonial lit when I was in college.
Okay.
And so that was my introduction to Caribbean literature, was like very much from a literary post-colonial sort of, bent. And then sort of like I had to like really push and like find out what else was out there and who else was writing. But for the longest time, because I went to school in the United States, everything that I read from the Caribbean, I had a very strong sense that if you were coming from the Caribbean, you could get a certain kind of book published, but you couldn't get like, just random things, just like, I have a story, it's about two people who just happen to be from the Caribbean. Like, here's a story about the two of them. Like that might get published in the Caribbean, but you couldn't find it in a bigger market. And the sad fact is, like, if it's published in the United States, you do get like a worldwide readership, because the channels sort of like, broadcast that way. Because I see a lot of Indians right now doing really good work in India, but the moment they try to get their deals done in the United States and get like a bigger audience, and we all speak English, it's like, it's not like we're talking about like,
right,
different language. But they're like, well, this isn't Indian enough, like, where's like all the Indian stuff? And you're like, well, it's because they're Indian already. They don't need to prove that they're Indian, like, all the Indians know that already. So anyway, that's me on a rant. But yeah, so I don't really remember your original question.
I think we were discussing the books that are published and how it is that
right
the diversity in books now on Instagram and so on.
Yeah, so I think,
sorry.
No, I was just saying that I read a lot of the backlist, and it's shocking to me, like, there's such great commercial fiction writers that were published in the 20th century that a lot of people haven't read or don't even know exists. And they're some of my favorite authors, and I have this mindset where I think like, oh, like everybody must know these people. And then I'll keep meeting like younger people and they're just like, who's this person? And I'm like, oh,
who's this person?
I should, I should mention them on my page. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway.
Just one thing, two things. So Sam, yes, I will invite you on for one of my next lives because I want to hear about this book that you're launching. So yay. I'll message you. But the other thing I want to talk about, like just briefly on the issue with diversity, and you mentioned that there are authors that are trying something new. They're trying to be more inclusive in their cast members for their books and their characters. What I find though is that I am not fully satisfied with a lot of them. I think that, as you mentioned, that they do is very superficial. It can be very superficial. And when that happens, I become upset. I'm like, people, we have Google, we have Bing. Like, if you are writing in the US, I am certain you can find someone from this particular culture who would sit down with you and talk to you about it. Like, it is not that difficult. It is not that difficult. And I'm like, but why? Like, why is it that it's easier for you to make your character so good than to actually put in the work? You know? No, honestly, it upsets me. Not only that, right? Okay, one other thing. So there are a lot of books now that I see, like, various persons writing about quote unquote Afro-descendant characters, right? And when they're like describing them, it's hilarious, because when they describe other characters, it's like, you know, their pearlescent skin was translucent, and the veins could be seen beneath their cherry warm blush. And I'm just like, okay, cool, cherry warm blush, nice. And then they go to describe the brown character, and they're like, she was brown. What? She was what? And I'm like, okay. What shade of brown? What? You know, like, okay, let me keep reading. What shade of brown? Her brown skin was dark, and she went down the hill. And I'm like, you're kidding me. Exactly, Sam. It's lazy writing. It is lazy writing. Yeah. Like, and thank you, anyways. I don't know why they do that. It bothers me. Take a breather. Let me see. Some people were making some comments here. So let me just have a look. We had Encanto Textile. Naima said that she prefers just brown to chocolate brown. Sam was saying that there are many colors and subcolors for brown, which is true. Oh, okay. And Margaret was trying to log in and it wasn't working. I know it's late and I'm taking up a lot of your time.
Oh,
so
no,
I'm just going to let you answer. The internet keeps striking. Yes, it's horrible. But she's back. We're back. Thank you so much for waiting, guys. Yes. So there is the need for diversity, but like you said in the beginning, I think there is the need for like research.
Yeah. Yes.
Please do your research. That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
You're buffering for me again, but I can.
Me too.
Oh no.
I was enjoying this chat so much. Okay, I guess given everything and given the time, the length of this conversation, Amrita, I am going to invite you to another live with. So I'm going to invite you to another live with because this one ended up being a bit long. But thanks everyone who is here. I know a lot of you have to go. Amrita, you need to go and sleep because I know it's really late where you are. For me, it's like mad early, but you know, time differences. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah, our internet, I don't know, it could be mine because my internet can be trash. Thank you so much for being here, Amrita. Let's reschedule. Let's have a part 2. It's 12. It's like 8 minutes to 1 p.m. So yeah, it's pretty early. I don't know what happened. But okay, let's reschedule, as in let's continue this chat. I think we brought up some very interesting topics that we can explore later on. I do have some other persons that I would like to, dude, 12 o'clock is early, that I would like to invite. If you would like to be part of my live with, feel free to message me, because I would also love to talk to you about your books and your views on books. Amrita, let's see if maybe we can do this again next week, maybe. So let me know and we can just wrap off this conversation. Thank you everyone who was here. Thank you so much for logging in. Hope to see you again next week. Feel free to message me or Amrita. Go on our pages to see what our reviews are like, and what we have to say. She's also on YouTube. I love her YouTube channel, Amrita by the Book. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.